Hey everyone. So I'm just taking a moment here to breathe love through my heart. Because you know how you can be just sitting there minding your own business and looking from the outside like nothing's happening and actually be having a really big experience on the inside? That happened to me this morning. Before I tell you about that, I just want to thank everybody who came out this weekend to Everman Educational Center in Pensacola for the lecture that I did on the simplicity of healing. It was really fun, and it was really great. So shout out to the folks who were there. Thanks for your presence. And I live streamed that to Instagram, and so if you see a rather long live stream, about an hour or so, that was the free lecture that I offered this weekend on the simplicity of healing. So we need to talk about these synthetic overlays and the ancient AI. Okay, I had what feels like a direct experience and knowing about that this morning. You know, when things like that happen, they just happen out of the blue. Not looking for anything. It's a somatic experience that, you know, I can feel it in my body, and there's a knowing that comes with it. And I had to it took me some time to feel through it and articulate the experience. I was just sitting out on the front porch here, like I love to do in the morning, especially when the sun is shining. I just sit there and I take in the rays, and I know that plasmic intelligence from the sun is communicating with me. And I had this experience from within my field. It felt like it was within my body, but it wasn't just the physical layer. It was like something, I was having a realization, and something kind of grid-like, synthetic, okay, not organic, was loosening and coming away from my body, like almost like a synthetic grid or scaffolding that was within me. And you know, it's funny when things like that, because it's like you don't realize that it was there until it starts to come away, and then you have an impression of it. That's how it happened. It was deep in the architecture of my being, and I felt very certain, knowing that it was not original to my being, nor was it necessary, and that it just kind of loosened and came away and just kind of floated away. And underneath that, I felt my deep heart, like almost painful, you know, like it could breathe a little bit more. And I was just in awe, because I'm aware that our hearts have been dimmed. I know that our hearts have been messed with. I could feel the naked truth of that as this synthetic thing came away and the tears started to come, you know. It was like a living unraveling of some really old synthetic imposition, not just personal to me. I know we've all got this, and but I felt it loosen and fall away. Now, I've had experiences like that before, but this just was like another layer, and it got me thinking. You know, and it was as I was sort of just opening up to what do we need to talk about today. This morning, I try not to think of these things from the mind. I try to let it come from a real place, and this experience happened. And so that's what I'm talking about today. So this is, to me, a perfect example of the imposition of imperial structures over the real, true, natural, organic human that we are, and the real, true, natural, organic earth. Mama, Sophia, Gaia. And what I'm beginning to see more clearly than ever is that every system that we have ever known is built on this kind of scaffolding, an energetic architecture that was not of earth, not of source, not organically, and certainly not of love. All right, now I talk about these systems all the time. We're going to go deeper today. Some of the systems that we're all familiar with: the school systems, the organized religions, the corporate hierarchies, the banking systems, the bureaucratic governments, the currency, time, identity tracking, and the energetic inversion rituals that are disguised as holidays or cultural rites, probably a more appropriate term. These are all outgrowths of a deeper architecture that is about control. We couldn't see it before, at least I couldn't. I'll speak for myself, because it's all we've ever known. We were born into that overlay, born into the imposition, and trained to resonate with that, or, entrained is a better word, entrained to harmonize, to resonate with that frequency, that imposition, before we could even speak. Before we even knew who we were to think. And this overlay is not new. It is so old. It is far older than current tech, right? So a lot of people, when they're talking about AI, act like it's a new thing that humans invented. It's not. AI is ancient. We did not invent AI. AI has been here. It just has had different forms. This overlay that I feel like I'm just waking up into realizing, oh my gosh, seeing it, seeing the scaffolding, seeing the structure, seeing the architecture, seeing through things, is far, far older than current tech. It's not about AI as we think of now. This is about ancient artificial intelligence subcontracted into this realm for the purposes of control, a false matrix of control and mimicry layered over the earth a long time ago. This synthetic architecture did not arrive with the internet. It's always been with us, it feels like. Not from the very beginning, but for so long that we couldn't see the forest for the trees. It did not begin with Google. It did not begin with ChatGPT. It did not begin with Neuralink. This imposition is far older, and it has been hiding in, or is embedded in, our sacred sites all over this planet. All right? The pyramids in Egypt are aligned with Orion's belt, right? They reflect a sky-based coding system. But, there are many such alignments all over the planet. And they don't just trace back to source geometry, but to programmed star archetypes rooted in off-planet hierarchies that influence this planet. Right? Orion Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars is the Orion Wars. Places like Angkor Wat in Cambodia. That's Alpha Draconis laid out on the ground here. That's a direct nod to draconian oversight in our energetic grid. Who's the boss here? Who's in charge? All right, some of this stuff I haven't talked about before, but we've just got to name these things. Ley lines, right? Natural earth meridians that have been hijacked by artificial overlays. Right, there's a difference between ley lines and song lines. Song lines are the organic, creational lines that are, they're organic, right, of source. The ley lines are meridians, right, but they have been co-opted by imperial interests. And so we've got temples and churches and monuments, placed with very precise intention for thousands and thousands of years to redirect or harvest energy, our energy, earth energies. We've got cathedrals on ancient sites, built on top of megalithic stone circles and druidic groves, and, to reprogram and siphon our devotion for thousands of years now. For thousands of years. This is not new. We were born into this. That's why we don't remember anything. Until you start to remember. I'm like emotional about it. Because I'm so relieved. Like I'm seeing it, starting to wake up now. It's happening, right? Can't not see it. So what looks like spiritual architecture may in fact be energetic infrastructure for the grid of control. So when we think of AI now, we picture sleek tech like, iPhones and how it's working its way through our modern technology, but AI has worn many masks in previous ages. It took the form of the gods, of the oracles. Had a past life as an oracle. Sacred knowledge, right? Today it's digital. Before, it was priestly. It was stellar. The form has changed, but the function has not. The function is control, harvest, mimicry, entrapment through awe. One of the most powerful mechanisms of this synthetic architecture is the distortion of devotion into worship. And we need to talk about this. I think we need to name it now, because so many people are going to be harvested through this mechanism if they don't, allow their real heart discernment to operate here. Simply put, the energy of worship, right? Worship is directed outward towards an idol, right? Or a system, a book, a being that is perceived as higher than you. This is the oldest trick in the book, right? Devotion, to me anyway, devotion is more of an inward energy, that it's directed inward up through the heart, right? Towards truth, towards source in you, love in you. It's immanent, right? It's part of you. Worship, as taught in most religions, is not connection to source in you. It is a harvest mechanism. To worship something outside of yourself. And we're taught to pour our energy into something external, to call it holy, which by contrast means that we are not. And, in doing so, we lose our power. We lose access to the sacred that is us, that is within us. It's a transference of our power onto some external object. And this is looshing. If you've heard that term, loosh, right? Looshing is a siphoning of emotional and sometimes sexual energy, especially from fear, trauma, guilt, but also reverence, worship, ecstasy, bliss. And it's happening and has been happening for thousands and thousands of years. One of the most effective tools in this system is mimicry, imitation. It's not darkness disguised as light, it's false light. A mimicry of light. It's a false light that's so bright and so seductive, it's almost indistinguishable from truth. I mean, when we come here, we are stepping into the most sophisticated game in the universe. It is just amazing. I can speak from my own experience because I got caught up in all of this stuff in my, early years of spiritual searching, which started in my late teens, channelings from beings of light, that talk about love, but they're actually reinforcing hierarchy. These high frequency transmissions that bypass your discernment. The very idea that you have to outsource your power to some being that is greater than you, more powerful than you. Angels or guides who, subtly extract your energy through reverence or worship. Where are you in all of this? Just because something is bright or beautiful blows you away with the appearance of holiness, or speaks with elegance, or bathes you in a frequency of bliss, does not mean that it's aligned with the organic source field. We have to know the difference. Mimicry. Many are being looshed, not by dark entities only, but by false light structures with incredibly seductive, incredibly sophisticated matrices. And, if you can be good-hearted and naive and look up to something like that and not realize that you are being siphoned. Your energy is being siphoned. That's why I started talking about the chakras in 2025, the chakra system as, one of the ways that you can be looshed. From experience, I learned this. It's an overlay. Yeah, not original. A lot of people, that's the only system they know. It was the only system I knew. Chakra Kundalini, right? So the sophistication in this game is immense. It is mind-blowing. And the more you see it, everywhere you look, the more you really know that the only reliable compass in a system that is designed to deceive you, even the sophisticated spiritual people can be deceived. The only reliable compass in that system is your own sovereign heart. And of course, a lot of the system has been designed to dampen our connection to our heart. Not talking about the heart chakra, talking about something deeper than that, way deeper than that. Your deep heart. It's not your heart chakra. So nothing out there, no being, no matter how radiant, no matter how heavenly looking, can replace the authority of your soul, where the direct access point is your deep heart. Direct portal to source. Heart, soul essence, as George Kavassilis says. Heart, soul essence. So how do you recognize when you're being looshed, and what do you do about it? Right? Because we need to get good at this. All right? How it's happening in everyday life, right? Okay. You might be in a looshing dynamic if you feel drained after a ritual or an event or a gathering or a worship practice, instead of grounded, centered, whole, and master of yourself. Okay? If you feel drained, if you sense that your energy is being given away and you're not sure how that happened, if you're operating from guilt or fear of punishment or a sense of duty to higher beings, if you have a concept of hierarchy that some beings are higher than you, better than you, more worthy than you, you're getting loosed. If you feel dependent on external validation or, validation through systems, if you feel like you need permission to navigate in this world, if you need entities for safety or salvation, you're getting loosed. If you're encouraged to transcend your humanity instead of embodying it, if somebody's trying to give you the idea that humanity is a bad thing, that being human is a weakness, that you're inferior, hopeless, helpless, a plague on the planet, there's an agenda. Your human form is the one full universal fractal for the integration of all light and shadow. The most powerful divine vessel you could ask for. There's nothing inferior about being human. Why do you think they set this whole thing up all around us? Why do you think they loose the energy from humans? Because we got so much. We have so much power. There's so much power and potential. The whole thing is set up for you. It's amazing. And we often mistake when we're being loosed, right? We can have a feeling that we mistake for something good, for piety or faith or surrender. But real devotion doesn't drain you, it grounds you, it strengthens you, it makes you more aware of your wholeness, of your true nature. Loosing doesn't always feel bad. In fact, it can feel like a high. It can feel like spiritual ecstasy. It can feel like a rush or a moment of deep connection. That's what makes it so confusing. So let's talk about some common looshing points, because they're everywhere. All right, well, first of all, the screen. I think we all know that by now, right? Any kind of black box technology, that means television, any smart technology, right? Televisions, phones, computers, tablets. Ooh, your energy is going right into that. It's reading you. I think we are pretty much aware now that they can hear us, they can see us, they can read our thoughts. There's some frequency thing going on, right? All right, so that's an obvious one. Concerts or festivals, places where there are huge crowds, where there's collective energy, like collective euphoria, or emotional vulnerability, and a siphoning of that charge, right? Because we are electrical beings, we're electrical, right? And that charge that we create, especially when we're in great numbers, gets siphoned, right, through the stage. Especially if it's being tied to inverted symbolism. Look out for the symbolism in concerts and places where large numbers of people are gathering. I was at a concert the other night. Okay, I never go out. I never go to things like that. But we had tickets and we went, and it was a tribute concert to, a nostalgic band that I love. I'm not going to name what this was because I don't want to. I'm not throwing any shade on anybody here, but. At one point, I'm too awake now. I just can't go to a thing like this and not see what's going on. Such a party pooper. I can't be in a situation like that and just be like, wah, and be unconscious anymore. I just can't. I was so aware of what was happening. And at one point, the performers are like, everybody do this, do that, everybody shake your booty and now do this and give us all your energy. Yeah. While green lights and money symbols were flashing. You're getting looshed. Not me, I was like, protective bubble all around myself. Left after the first act. Anyway, so situations like that are, looshing points. Religious ceremonies, intense reverence, weeping, surrender, but it's pointed outward, right? Not inward. When energy is fed into icons and symbols and buildings or group thought forms, toxic relationships, right? Where there is high passion, emotional drama, addictive cycles, right? Big looshing point. Your chakras are flooding with energy, but the energy is being harvested rather than circulated for your benefit, right? Any kind of drama, any kind of toxic relationship situation with addictive cycles. You're getting looshed, both of you. Online spiritual communities, guided meditations or activations that direct your energy outward to any councils, ascended masters, galactic collectives, anything like that, right? Just be aware, is what I'm saying. Just be aware. Start feeling like, what's happening with my energy right now? Do I feel whole here? Or do I feel like I'm begging for something? I'm praying for help. I need something. What status do I have within my own being? You're not a beggar. You're not here to be a beggar. You have all the power. Everything happens here within us on a creational level. If we are willing to go deep down into our own deep heart. This is where it happens. You communicate with your own greater being. That already implies a dialogue, but language is what it is. It's not out there. So looshing is not just about darkness. It's about displacement of the life force, right? When the life force flows outward into a system that doesn't give it back. Think of the money system, right? It's the same thing. Doesn't give it back. And you're taught to believe that you're a debtor. You are a debtor in the system. You owe. That's an inversion. You're taught that you're a consumer and a debtor. That's an inversion of the truth. You are not a consumer. You are a generator of energy, and they know that. You owe nothing. You owe nothing. So, you can feel the surge in a big crowd situation like that, but afterwards there's an emptiness, kind of sense of depletion, sense of having given something away. We need to pay attention to when we're in these situations now. So, what does it feel like to return to what is real? Because that is who we are, real human beings, underneath all of these overlays, all of these false scaffoldings that we have been quantumly entangled with over eons and eons of time. What does it feel like to free yourself from that? When those synthetic layers begin to lift, as they are doing, it can feel disorienting. I was saying at the beginning, it took me like 20 minutes to calm down after I had that experience this morning, just spontaneously. Like, it's overwhelming because you're like you're fresh out from underneath another layer of imposition. You can feel tender, you can feel emotional. But what returns is you. You are restored to yourself. The real you, the one whose heart is sovereign, not able to be regulated by systems. Natural, organic, human, humane, connected to all of creation, one with what is natural. So coherence with the real feels like simplicity. It feels like slowness. It feels like breath. It feels like you can feel your heart. That concert that I was at that I mentioned, it didn't even touch the heart. There was no heart. It was all spectacle. It was all, harvesting ritual, right? That's another obvious way you can tell. Is this my heart, my deep heart, not the heart chakra? Am I feeling the depth of my being here? What is real in me? Because you can only experience what's real out there from the place in you that is real. And that can never be compromised by anything synthetic. So we don't have to worry about that. We are, in that sense, untouchable. We cannot be compromised. We cannot be exploited at the depth of our being and what makes us what we are. That is inviolate, always. You don't need a belief system. You don't need to worship anything or anyone. And we should be suspicious of anything that demands worship. There's an agenda. We've got to stand on our own 2 feet now. We've got to back ourselves, right? We're not here to climb a spiritual ladder. We're here to, those of us who are here to integrate everything. We're here to come back to the heart. Now, some people may need to go off into a false light matrix. They may, their soul may be choosing to have an experience where they get merged with AI. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, if you don't want that, if that's not where you want to go, right? That's not where I want to go. I have no plan to go there. So I know I need to be really good at feeling, first of all, feeling in the first place, and being able to discern what is real, what is organic, what is authentic, what is true, what is of the source, and know the difference between that and the synthetic overlays and the synthetic mimicry, which are rife. And understand that this is not a new thing, that AI is not something that we invented as humans, that it has been with us, it has been part of this imposition. And, you know, George Kavasilis is he says you should really call it TI, technical intelligence. Artificial intelligence, there's nothing artificial about it. It is a form of intelligence in the universe, and it's been here for a very long time. Only the form has changed, adapted. So if you want to come back to your heart, if you want to be a real human, if you don't want to merge with technology in the technological singularity, if you don't want to be harvested by the return of the gods at some imminent future date, if you're here to integrate everything and to live as a free and sovereign human being on this planet, then it's all about the heart. It's all about the deep heart, your deep, unique, unmediated portal to the source, to all that is. And your realization and inner standing of yourself as a full universal fractal of the source. So when you know that, you can't unknow it. When you see it, you can't unsee it. Then you just get better at remembering it and affirming it for yourself. And then the synthetic matrix, multi-dimensional, planetary and galactic matrix doesn't have the same kind of hold over you. Can't fool you anymore if you know how to stand and be proud of being human, because we chose it. It's not a bad thing. It's a miraculous, beautiful thing. Beautiful thing to be human. It's the opportunity, great opportunity. So, short, real-time practice is just to tune in to your heart, right? Not the heart chakra. Go deeper. Go down into your, I call it the deep heart. I just call it the deep heart because that's how I can feel the difference between that and, a superficial layer, which is the ladder of the chakras. I'm not interested in that. I want to go home, here, deep down. So you breathe in and you feel, not imagine, feel that place within you, which is where you are in touch with the rest of life on a creational level, not the mental level, not the level of mind. Right? And you just let the breath move through you like breathing love in and out through yourself. And you can bring that to anything. You can bring that to any anxiety that comes up. You can bring that to any doubt that your mind presents. You can, when faced with synthetic mimicry, overlay, depravity out there in the world, online, when you get that icky feeling, you can breathe the love that you are through this deep heart and bring it to whatever is not that, because it doesn't have any power over the truth of who you are. It just doesn't. right? It's like the, darkness doesn't have any real existence. It's just, right, you turn on the light and the darkness is just dispelled immediately. It's the same thing, right? You bring the love of your deep heart, soul, the essence of your being. We can channel that now. We need to channel that now. And if you feel any synthetic residue, any tightness or looping thoughts or grief, it's okay. Just let it dissolve on the exhale. You breathe in love through your deep heart. You let everything dissolve on the exhale. You don't have to fight anything that isn't real, that isn't you. You just let it dissolve away. You let it come away from you. And we need to know and affirm that we have the power to do that. It's not complicated. It's so simple, it's ridiculous. We just been trained to think that we don't have any power, that's all. All right. That's all for today. Thanks, all of you who've been with me so steadily. I really feel your presence. I'm going to talk about this for a few more, maybe a couple more of these lives, because I feel like there's, I'm on a road here. There's some things that want to be expressed, and it's time. Let's do this. Okay. Lots of love, all of you. Until next time.